Hello, everyone. My guest today is Tom Rossi. He's one of the co-founders of the product development company HirePixels. He's been leading the company since 1996 and has seen it shift from a client services company to a product company. HirePixels currently has 4 products: Buzzsprout, StreamCare, Tick, and Donor Tools. Each product has been built with Ruby on Rails and continue to be actively developed today. All right, Tom, are you ready to take us to the top?
Sure.
Which one of these babies is the one you care about most? It's the biggest in terms of revenue.
Oh, you're asking me to pick my favorite child.
Yeah.
I think Buzzsprout is the one that we gravitate towards a lot just because it's fun. You get to deal with interesting people, and it's kind of a fun product to work on.
Let's focus on that one then. What's the product do, and is it a pure play SaaS company?
Sure. So Buzzsprout helps people get their message out there to the world. So we've been doing that since 2008, and it started. We had another product called MSites, which was a content management system. We had people that needed to get their audio out, and they struggled with how to do that, and that eventually became podcasting. You build an RSS feed, and people subscribe and listen to it. So we built Buzzsprout for that audience. It was mostly churches, and right after we launched it, we just started having people sign up from all over the world, really, who wanted to. They wanted to get their audio out there, and it was really complicated, and we made it very, very simple. And so to this day, that's what we're focused on with Buzzsprout, is making it really simple for you to be able to get your message out.
And what's the pricing model? Is it a SaaS model?
Yeah, totally a SaaS model. Price is based on the number of hours of content that you upload every month. So again, our audience they want it simple. They're low tech users. And so we don't charge for megs and gigs. We charge for hours. They get a certain amount of duration that they can upload every month. We also have a free plan for people that are just getting into podcasting, so they can experiment with it and try things out, and we'll host their content. We give them a limited amount of content, 2 hours every month that they can upload. And then from there, we'll host it for 90 days.
That's great. So give me an average. What's the average customer paying per month right now, would you say?
Probably somewhere around $15 to $19. That's probably our average.
So this is definitely not like a kind of enterprise $100,000 per year kind of account. You're focused on volume.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of the way that we want our products to be, right? So that way you don't have that client that can just demand changes. We can really build it the way that we think it should be built, and we're not beholden to, some contract that we have with somebody who's paying us, tens of thousands of dollars.
Spoken like a guy that has come from a consultancy, right? All right.
Yes, exactly.
When did you guys launch the Buzzsprout product? What year?
2008.
2008. Okay. Heck of a year to launch a company. And then what have you scaled that to today in terms of total customers?
Probably on the order of, it's definitely in the tens of thousands is the number of podcasts that we currently support.
But you have a free plan too, though. So I'm just curious in general, like, are you talking 1,000? Like, how many paid?
Yeah, we don't share those numbers, but yeah, it's in the thousands.
Okay. So, can we just put a big range on that? So between 1,000 and 5,000, is that fair?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. Look, and the reason I do that is I want to understand growth, right? So if I take 1,000 times that $15 average price point, that puts you at, $15,000 a month today about for this product. Is that about accurate?
Sure. It's in the right. It's a lot more than that, but
okay.
we don't share those numbers because we don't want to focus on that. It's not what we got into it. I think what's important for people to hear is that it's profitable. It's very profitable. You don't have to make $1 million a month to be a very profitable company.
Yeah.
Especially when you bootstrap it. We've never taken any money from anybody, and we've been profitable since the day that we launched. Because even if you're making, a couple $100, that's more than what it's costing us to host it.
Yeah.
And so,
No, Tom, by the way, you're almost hedging. Like, this is a weakness. I actually love it when I find a bootstrap CEO. And like, I actually wish people like you had more confidence to say, this is where we're at, and we're bootstrapped, and it's profitable, and we're happy doing it, and it's exactly what we want. And the reason I don't go after data just for data's sake, but what I do know is that people listening will basically say, oh, I'm in that range. I don't have to raise capital. I could be Tom and do it too. So, it would be really helpful for me. Yeah. Can you give me a better range of where you're at? Are you at just south of $1 million run rate right now, or?
But I don't think that's what's important. I think what's important for your listeners to hear is within the first year, we're making $5,000 a month, which is great because it's growing every month. And so when you look at your numbers, is it growing? Because if it's growing, then you can say, hey, I can map out my future, right?
So what are you growing at? What are you growing at year over year?
year over year, we're doubling.
Okay, that's great. That's great growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's tracking along with the industry. But like you said, I love for bootstrappers to hear, look, you don't need to accept money from outside. You don't need to hire a massive team. For years, it was really just two of us. It was just Kevin, one of my partners, and I, and that was it.
And how many today?
Great. Now there's 13 of us in the company, but we're spread out across 4 different products.
Yeah. So
four different products that we're actively developing on.
How many just focused on this product?
None. We all float between our different products.
I see. I mean, okay. So how does a week look like? I mean, a lot of people have troubles building one product. You're building 4. People would say like the switching cost there alone would be immense.
Yeah. So we don't do a lot of switching, especially during the day. But what'll happen is we work in work cycles. So we'll work for a 6-week work cycle. And in that work cycle, we'll have certain projects that we're working on. And so some of them might be on Buzzsprout, some of them might be on Tick. And we'll just work on those projects however we want to chunk up our work. So typically what'll happen is you'll pick one product and you'll work on that for a good period of time. And then maybe you want to take a break and you want some variety. And so then you go and you work on one of your other projects for one of the other products.
Yep. Yeah, that makes good sense. And where's everybody based?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, good. So the whole team's down there.
Yeah, we don't have any remote workers yet, but we would like to be able to do that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Take me back to, again, doubling down on Buzzsprout, the product obviously you're focused on.
Sure.
Customer growth. Where are you getting most of these new customers?
Most of our customers are coming through either organic searches, paid acquisitions through affiliates or search engines.
Okay.
Like paying Google AdWords. We haven't done really well with Twitter or Facebook, but Google has done pretty well for us.
That's great.
And affiliates, working with affiliates, people that are actually out there building content that can link back to us. That's been a good growth strategy for us.
And what's the incentive structure there? Is it 30% per month as long as the people they drive are still paying you monthly, or what's the structure?
It's different depending on the affiliate, but it's we'll either do a single payment. So this is how much you get paid every time you refer somebody, and it's a portion of the lifetime value of a customer. Or if it's somebody who's got a massive network, we might work out a different arrangement with them.
Mm-hmm. How do you have confidence? So a lot of people have gotten themselves in trouble paying out a percentage of LTV on a sign up because you don't know if that affiliate's cohort is going to perform like your historical cohort. So you're going to base like the LTV payment off your historical cohorts, not the cohort from the affiliate. How do you make sure you keep that in check?
We track it. But they are in line. So people that come through an affiliate there's not a higher churn rate associated with those or anything like that. So we look at those numbers and we're really confident in our ability to calculate that because we've been doing it for so long.
It's not, but it's not about you. That's the thing is like, I've seen people sign up new affiliates and those affiliates can use a different strategy or they're marketing to a different cohort that just doesn't have the same economics in your platform. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the traffic they're sending.
Right. And so that's why we track it. And so what we do is we track, so I can look at what a churn rate is for a particular cohort.
But you've already paid them that fee, percentage of lifetime fee up front when they drove you the customer in the first place.
Right. So that's the risk is you paying them up front.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to understand.
All right. So if we were to find, we haven't seen this, but if we were to find that an affiliate was sending us, trash signups or trash, they only get paid on a paid conversion. But if we found out that they were churning at a higher rate or they weren't as valuable as other customers, then we would, pay them a different rate.
You'd go back and renegotiate it and say, listen, it's not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Based on LTV, yeah.
Yeah, totally. When you look at kind of fully weighted CAC, so including any people writing or doing your SEO strategy or managing your affiliate network, to acquire a new $15 a month customer, what are you typically paying fully weighted CAC?
It depends on the channel that it comes through. So if it's coming through an affiliate, we typically will pay $30 I say that. I think it's $40 that we pay because we give $20 to the affiliate and we give $20 to the person that was referred through the affiliate. So that way they have some incentive to give to, hey, if you sign up, you'll get $20 and I'll get $20. Yep. So really it's about $40 is what we'll pay for an acquisition through an affiliate. And then with Google, it's whatever. It's you pay all over the map, but always less than whatever the LTV is.
Well, definitely, but
50% of the LTV is what we're looking for.
Okay, so that can be dangerous though, right? So if a customer stays with you for 6 years, what you're saying is if you take your 6-year LTV, you're willing to pay 3 years upfront to Google. Well, if you sign up more customers on Google, you're paying basically 3 years of revenue upfront. You get into a huge cash hole. So how do you manage that?
You manage your cash. Don't spend money you don't have. So that's kind of the way that we've done it in the past. Is we'll dial it up and back based on how much cash we want to spend. But what we've found is as you start paying for those acquisitions, it also raises other numbers. All of a sudden your organics start to go up. All of a sudden your affiliates start to go up. And so it's really hard to capture all the value that you get out of those paid acquisitions. But you're right. When we originally started doing it, the mentality was, hey, if it's $1 more than, if it costs us $1 less than the LTV, why wouldn't we do that? Well, now we know the answer. Well, because cash is worth cash. And so you don't want to spend, all that money and then have to wait 10 years to recoup it. So
super dangerous to associate I know people like to say 3-to-1 CAC to LTV. I just think what's way more important is payback period. How long does it take you to recover the cash that you put in to acquire the customer? What is that for you generally? 1 or 2 months?
It depends on a lot of factors, right? If they come in through an affiliate, like I said, it costs $40. So if they average $15 a month, so you can do the math and figure out 3-4 months before you recoup it on an affiliate referral. And then Google depends on what cohort they kind of fall into, how much we paid to acquire them.
Generally, though, still in that kind of 4 to 6 month. Oh, okay, it's much longer.
Yeah, longer. Yeah, typically it'd be more like a year at least.
That's still pretty healthy, even at a year. What do you assume lifetime value is on most of these accounts?
Anywhere between $300 to $500.
Okay.
And so we keep it conservative. We'll typically say $300.
Yeah, $300. That's good. So, I mean, I can kind of, well, let me ask you, when you look at churn, obviously churn is critical in this kind of business. What is your churn?
Less than 2%.
That's logo churn per month?
Yeah. Our churn per month is somewhere between 1% and 2%.
I mean, that's good. So, I mean, if I take 1 divided by 0.02%, you could argue that a customer stays with you for 50 months on average, times that 15 price point. That gives you $750 LTV, but you're being conservative and saying, we're just going to plan around 300 or 500.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. That's really good. I love how you're running the business. I think it's really smart. One thing that I'm envious of is I don't know how you juggle 4 balls at once. Just something.
That's something that we struggle with too. So don't worry.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah. A lot of it goes back to the work cycles that we were talking about earlier. We kind of adopted that from Basecamp. We've tracked really well with Basecamp. When we did client services, is when they were still doing client services, it's 37 signals. And we followed them ever since, and it's really helped us a lot. And one of the things that they've started doing was work cycles. And I talked to Jason Fried at a conference some years ago, and we started incorporating it here. And it's really helpful because you're pretty much heads down working for 6 weeks, and so that gives you on one project. Or if it's a small project, you might be able to take on 2 or 3. So we call them small batch or large batch projects, but it's only for 6 weeks. And so it really gives you permission to say, you know what, I'm going to put the blinders on and just focus on what needs to get done for the 6 weeks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Tom. All right, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Favorites, Good to Great. Good to Great is probably, though it doesn't have to be crazy at work. The new Basecamp book, I'm a big fan of, but Good to Great, it probably has affected my thinking about business for the longest period of time.
Number 2, is there a CEO that you're following or studying that the rest of us might not know about?
Probably not. Jason Fried and David Hennemeyer Hansen are the ones that I'm tracking with the most right now.
Yeah. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building the business?
Favorite online tool for building Basecamp. So Basecamp is our primary method of communicating and managing the whole team, being able to communicate with one another and collaborate.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I'm trying for 8.
What do you get though?
7.
7.
I get between 7 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm using the Fitbit tracking, which is a little bit misleading because it's more accurate, because what it's doing is it's actually tracking all the times that you kind of wake up for a minute or 2 in the middle of the night. But it's funny. I'm trying to get 8, but it's so hard to go to bed early.
Yeah. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married with 4 kids.
Holy mackerel, you're busy. Okay. How old are you?
I am 46.
40. See, now we know why there's 4 companies. There's one for each kid. That's what we're waiting on here, right?
Right. Yeah,
all right.
Exactly.
Last question here, Tom. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, man. Gosh. Probably the client service is a lot harder than you think it's going to be.
Yep. Guys, client services are harder than you think. That's why he's pivoted towards productized services, currently building Buzzsprout.com. They launched it in 2008 out of their agency. There's now 13 people that focus on it in kind of 6-week periods. Everyone based in Florida economics-wise. They've got between 1,000 and 5,000 customers paying $15 a month. So call it between, 15 grand a month up to 75 grand a month, somewhere in that range, growing 100% year over year. Bootstrapped, which we love, Bootstrapped. 2% logo churn per month. So obviously that assumes a 50-month LTV. He's conservative though, and assumes on a dollar basis it's $300. They spend up to $40 to acquire a customer, so anywhere between a 4 and a 12-month payback period, depending on what channel it comes through. But healthy growth. Tom, thanks for taking us to the top.
No problem. Thank you.